Well, Wray was in the hot seat yesterday. I'm actually surprised I found something with a side-by-side. Because as many of you know that have been watching me, it really annoys while they're asking a question and you can't see the person of interest while they're asking the question. Because that is when you're going to see stuff. Well, the most interesting things anyways. And what do we have? Thank you, Newsmax. I'm going to have to try you guys all the time.
Well, the gentleman from Florida is recognized.
The American people need to understand what just happened. My Democrat colleague just asked the director of the FBI whether or not they are buying information about our fellow Americans. And the answer is, well, we'll just have to get back to you on that. It sounds really complicated. But I have other questions.
So while watching Wray, we're not going to go over Gaetz, if at all. Wray's got the stress in the forehead. It's furrowed in and scrunched in, so you get all those lines. And while he's speaking, Gaetz is speaking, Wray, see those eyes squinch in? He seems like he's just becoming irritated with what's coming out of Gaetz's mouth. Not much in fear, so like an irritated annoyance.
Sitting here with my father, I will make certain that between the man...
He knows. As soon as that came up, I'm sitting here with my father. Oh, Wray, the guy we never see do anything, all of a sudden now he's got to move around and start scratching his head. So this has made him uncomfortable.
Sitting next to me
and now he's petting himself. Scratch the head, pet yourself.
Every person he knows and my ability to forever...
Chin comes up, squinch the eyes together. I don't know, I'm retarded, I don't understand. Is this a real thing?
Hold a grudge that you will regret not following my direction.
And that's when you see the eyes doing that little vibrating thing. They're going in and out, in and out, in and out. This is an act. He's very good at this portrayal thing.
I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father.
Now, why is that portrayal? Because it lasts so long. Nobody's retarded that long. It's certainly when they do have a moment of they're trying to figure it out, the brain is engaged and you have a deer in headlights moment. The face stops moving as the brain is engaged. This, on the other hand, I'm going to engage my face. Not my brain, but my face. It's going to pump around and look confused because the brain isn't thinking. It's just trying to look like it's thinking.
Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, director?
So he finishes it up. Wray sits there and motions himself in the chair. He looks down when he says, sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it? And he smiles. He knows. He's not as dumb as he's trying to portray to be.
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
And he smiles as he does it. I'm not going to get into it. Now, I will say, we've got a personality that is doing this. And I actually like Wray. I don't think he's malicious in the sense of he could literally just go around cutting people and laugh at them. Now, because I don't see that kind of personality, that is the reason why I like him. I have to now try and figure out, well, how could you do the kind of things that you do and not have any remorse for it? There is a crackhead and a pedo running the damn country. Unless they're not really running the country. Let's move on. Something here does not make sense. Because when you have a clash of personality, he's not a psychopath. There's something we don't know. And it is throwing body language off.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI does not.
Absolutely not. At that point, that's where it's kind of like, okay, there's stuff we don't understand that's going on. Something is going on. I don't know what it is because this doesn't make sense. I mean, he got upset about that. There was not a believe me look in that. He anchored down at no, and rolled around. No, absolutely not. Anger in that. Like, how dare you accuse me of protecting these dirtbags? So if it's not you, who is it? And we know he has the position to do it. What is it that we don't know?
Hold on. You won't answer the question about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it. Because to the millions of people who will see this...
The believe me look is gone. Now we just have stress. And we have the mouth movement. He's chewing on something. We don't know what it is.
They know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you. But let's go from...
So deeply revealing about you. The eyes close. It's more like a negative. And in that sense, Gaetz doesn't know. He's disagreeing with Gaetz. Negative. So he knows something because he's so relaxed on it. Negative to Gaetz. You don't know. Now you see a much bigger mouth movement as his clenches his jaw.
The uncurious to the downright nosy.
Then he goes into that, the face the forehead. So like a slight little crinkle in the eyes and the forehead area in a direction of, again, he's got knowledge, Gaetz does not. You also see him anchored down into it. It's like, okay.
How many illegal FISA queries have occurred under your leadership of the FBI?
Well, there are reports that have come out with different numbers about compliance incidents.
More than 1 million illegal ones? Because that's what the...
So now we go back to the believe me look. Now we're in the FISA thing. This is the portrayal stuff. This is where he's trying to lead you in this direction. This is the portrayal, just straight up portrayal. You got the believe me look going. He's much more relaxed. The accusations of protecting the Bidens, that's a separate with something that we don't know. And I have no context to explain it, just what I see.
The Inspector General said. The Inspector General said that in the 3.4 million of these queries, more than 1 million were in error. Do you have any basis to disagree with that assessment by the Inspector General?
I'm not sure actually that's a correct characterization of the Inspector General's findings on that.
The internet will remind you of that in moments. But let's now go to what...
The internet will remind you of that in moments. It took him a minute, well, less than 60 seconds. But then he realizes, oh yeah, and you see a little slight smile in it. He's not angry about it. That was actually like, oh, that goes with the personality. He's like, yep, they're going to remind me. That's what they do. There's no fear. There's no anger, which would lead me to believe, well, he, in his mind, is not doing anything wrong. That's fine. So they're going to remind me.
The court said it was over 200,000 that have occurred on your watch. Do you have any basis to disagree with that assessment?
Again, I don't have the number as I sit here right now. What I can
Seems like a number you should know. How many times the FBI...
Seems like a number you should know. And he falls down. It is more like he's just irritated at this moment with Gaetz because he's smiling while he did it. I just told you I don't remember. You just want to be argumentative. I don't know. Seems like you should know. Ugh. I'm not going to win. No, you're not.
The FBI's breaking the law under your watch, especially if it's like over 1 million to not know that number. And I'm worried about your veracity on the subject as well. Play the video.
Letters for
You going to the
investigation
FISA
of
court?
the Capitol.
Or you
I don't
going-
believe FISA is remotely implicated in our investigation.
So there, Senator Lee's asking you whether or not FISA was in any
You see
way
the portrayal
involved
coming
in
back
your January
through.
6th investigation, and you say no. Was that truthful?
I said that I did not believe it was.
Okay, so now let's pull up what the court said, which was something a little different than what you said. So here, nope, that's not the right one. Yeah, here we go, right there. It says, the government has reported additional significant violations of the querying standard, including several relating to the January 6, 2021 breach of the Capitol. So I guess the question, Director Wray, is did you not know when you were answering these questions that the FBI was engaging in these illegal searches, or did you perjure yourself to Senator Lee?
I certainly didn't perjure myself. At the time that I testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I didn't have that piece of information. I will add...
Well, that was a
So here we go into this. At the time, we've got a extreme stressor. We've got the believe me look. We're rocking back and forth. We're referencing back to the material as in over there, over there. So the mind is trying to tell Gaetz via body language, over there, over there, over there. And then I'm talking about what's on the screen that he saw.
court order. You didn't have that piece of information because the court hadn't yet rendered a judgment. Did you not know when you gave the untruthful answer before Senator Lee that this was going on?
It was a truthful answer. I did not believe FISA had been involved in the January 6th
But it was.
investigation.
So the body actually loosened up in that one. We see the movement in the spine. It was a truthful answer. We got the believe me look. And for those of you who do not know, believe me look does not necessarily mean deception. It is someone trying to convince you of their side of the mentality. It can be deception. Remember, you have to have 2 or 3 tails to sit there and be definitive on what something is.
So you didn't, the answer is the FBI has broken so bad that people can go and engage in queries that when you come before the Congress to answer questions, you're like blissfully ignorant. You're blissfully ignorant as to the unlawful queries. You're blissfully ignorant as to the Biden shakedown regime. And it just seems like it gets into a kind of a creepy place as well. Go to our next image on what the court said.
All right, so I was watching that part when he talks about how blissfully ignorant you can be and how broken the FBI is. and his eyes narrow in. Now, here are some things that I expect to see on a face when someone is saying that you are not able to run your own house. It looks like a hit, like some part of the body reacts, and it's instantaneous. And as we watch this again, I'm going to look at it, sit there and see if I can see a hit in particular.
When you come before the Congress to answer questions, you're like blissfully ignorant. You're blissfully ignorant as to the unlawful queries. You're blissfully ignorant as to...
There is nothing there. There's no hit. He's not blissfully ignorant. He didn't even stop breathing. His rhythm of breath didn't increase, didn't decrease, nor did it stop. That would have been a hit tell. No shoulder movement, no quick twitch in the spine, nothing. Which makes me believe that he knows what's going on. He has no fear. There's nothing there to sit there in his mind to say, I might get in trouble for this. This may not be good for my retirement. Nothing.
The Biden shakedown regime, and it just seems like it gets into a kind of a creepy place as well. Go to our next image on what the court said. Like, just so the American people realize, the court has smacked you down, ruling FBI personnel apparently conducted queries for improper personal reasons. People were looking themselves up, they were looking their ex-lovers up. Who has been held accountable or fired as a consequence of the FBI using the FISA process as their like creepy personal snoop machine?
There have been instances in which individuals have had disciplinary action and who are no longer with it. I can't get into it here, but we can follow back up with you.
But don't you see that that's kind of the thing, Director Wray, that you preside over the FBI that has the lowest level of trust in the FBI's history? People trusted the FBI more when J. Edgar Hoover was running the place than when you are. And the reason is because you don't give straight answers. You give answers that later a court deems aren't true. And then at the end of the day, you won't criticize an obvious shakedown when it's...
All right, so we see that a lot of that mouth movement, and it looks like at this point, because he keeps trying to open it, is it's because he wants to speak. Now, he had shifted himself into the chair and gone in a little tighter. He's narrowing his mental focus on this particular spot, and it's stressing him.
Directly in front of us, and it appears as though you're whitewashing the conduct of corrupt people.
Respectfully, Congressman, in your home state of Florida, the number of people applying to come work for us and devote their lives working for us is up over 100%.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you.
And they deserve better than you. Oh, it would have been good to see the follow through on that one. But we see the start of it. A little bit of emphasis on whatever thought went through his brain. Again, I personally think, because we have no context, that Gaetz just doesn't know. You don't know. You don't know, sir. So what we need is someone who's got some kind of inkling to go in there and ask him the question that will give us an idea of what we don't know. I go in the ball within a ball within a ball. This is a rabbit hole that apparently needs some light. They have no idea what is going on. And I do not want to hear about some kind of secret military tribunal. I'm talking about hard fact. What is going on? Show me the money.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.